100 Thieves are making some big moves. They have recently signed legendary NA player, IGL and analyst Sean Gers as their head of FPS. And have recently signed one of the most well-known managers and stickler of the rules, Messiyoso. And of course have made a signing that everybody likes with signing FaZe Rain. 100 Thieves have excellent players and beloved members of the community in every tier of their organization, except for the coaching role and the remaining 4 players on their CS2 roster. And in this video we're gonna look at all the facts of who they are gonna be signing. And these are all gonna be facts, but facts not everybody knows. I believe that 100 Thieves are gonna keep their trajectory of making great signings. 100 Thieves have made a giant influx of cash with their new sponsor, Rubet, and therefore have the money to get a CS2 roster because it's such an expensive esports with all the inflated salaries and buyouts. Salaries for tier 1 orgs, which 100 Thieves wanna be, range from 15k a month to 30k on the high end. And buying players like talents can range from 250,000 to over $2 million. Counter-Strike Esports is expensive, but I'm certain that the Rubet deal will help out greatly. 100 Thieves have shown that they don't like the build-up stage. They've done it before by signing the Renegades roster in 2020 with JKS, Jakeem and Kassad. And before that they bought the Immortal score in 2017 and never played a match. But they will surely do it again, and I will be surprised if they don't. But in an interview between Messiyoso and Sean Gers, they have revealed that they are looking at possibly building a team from scratch.
Do we even want the core? We could build from scratch and have our own thing, right? Get top free agent talent. And this is something Rubet's even interested in from talking to them.
Well, maybe ironic, but I just said that I like the signing of Messiyoso and Sean Gers, but actually I don't agree with them that it's the right move. Buying a core, if you can, is the way to go. And with the Rubet money, it's possible. Look at Ents, look at BC Game, spending a lot of money on individual players, but still having to mine in those tier 3, tier 2 tournaments just to get a few little points. And Heroic are barely scraping by having signed a tier 2, tier 3 roster, showing that buying in halfway is not enough. Also, you got Rain because you want to play tier 1. You don't want to have Rain and play and try and mine for points for 9 months and still not even have a chance to get on real tier 1 LAN tournaments. No one wants that, especially Rain, and Rain makes that very clear.
So what I prefer?
Like, well, what do you think the goals are, I guess, in this coming year for like the free agent route or the core route?
So if we get a core, then I would like to play the first major of the next season, the Cologne one.
Yeah.
Haven't missed a Cologne yet in my career. This would be my first one if we don't make it.
No, we gotta make it.
We gotta make it. But if it's free agent, then very high or slow chance of happening, but making the same major, Cologne. But if not, then the next one at the end of next year.
So which core will they pick up? Which region will it be? And will they be affordable? Because this is also very important for the VP of 100 Thieves, Melk.
This might sound obvious, but if the right core at the right price comes along, that has the right identity and the right pieces that we can build on for the long term, obviously that'd be sort of a shortcut to achieving what we want to do.
You might think that they would sign an NA org because 100 Thieves is NA and also already sport an NA Valorant roster. Well, an important thing to remember is that Rubet, the big contributor that actually makes it all possible for 100 Thieves to invest in Counter-Strike 2 in the first place. Rubet is literally the first thing they say where 100 Thieves says Counter-Strike. In every clip, in every graphic, hell, even in the Counter-Strike YouTube channel, it says 100 Thieves, Rubet, Counter-Strike. In the announcement video for Sean Gers and Messiyoso, the VP of 100 Thieves literally says this.
Start off and talk about how all this came together. We actually started talking to Rubet 4 or 5 months ago. They came in super eager to get into Counter-Strike, had heard through the grapevine that we were too. And the conversations were honestly quite easy. Guys behind Rubet are big Counter-Strike guys themselves, the whole founding team.
And Melk, the VP of 100 Thieves, goes on to say how much Rubet wants to be in Counter-Strike, which is a fact because Rubet has been trying to get into Counter-Strike for years now, for example with all the tournaments they have been running over the years. So I believe whatever Rubet says goes. But Roobet is illegal in North America. So Roobet and therefore 100 Thieves are more interested in signing a European tier 1 core, because they are better on average, go to bigger tournaments and therefore get more eyeballs from potential customers. Roobet is specifically looking at Counter-Strike, which is a way more European esports in comparison to League of Legends and Valorant, and therefore wants to be a top tier team in that region. And Messi also spills the bean a little bit if it comes to signing a European core.
They were based in Dallas and I was based in Europe, and it works well as kind of a link between the team and the headquarters and sort of a go-between.
And the reason for that being that we have all intentions of having the team based out of Europe.
Correct, yeah.
And another fact why 100 Thieves will sign a European core is because they have signed Rain, who I don't think will move out of the EU anytime soon, with him having a wife and 2 kids now at his advanced age. Now let's look at who these EU core rosters could be. First off, Heroic. It's a fact that Heroic love selling their cores. They can't get enough of it. It's their favorite thing. They love it so much so that it actually has become their poison chalice, with them selling so many cores and so many players that they actually missed out on the Starladder Budapest Major and therefore missed out on the lucrative sticker money. Which proves even more detrimental, because without playing the Major you will lose out on precious VRS points and therefore miss out on the next Major, which makes it less interesting for 100 Thieves to buy your core. And because 100 Thieves or Roobet have the money, I would personally advise against signing the Heroic core, because they're not a shoo-in for the next Major. The second possibility, FaZe Clan. Yeah, what do you think of them apples? FaZe Clan has been in the roughest state they have been for years now. The players are still great, and the VRS points they have are still great. Maybe 100 Thieves can just sign Kerrigan, Frozen and Twist, and then get a better Awper than Brokey. I said it, you have heard me say it a lot of times. But it is a possibility. FaZe can have a hard time keeping on to players because they're just terrible at making contracts. Like how Robs just left the team like that and they didn't make a single penny on a player that then won a Major and every tournament under the sun. Will it happen? I don't think so. FaZe Clan still loves being in Counter-Strike. They still have a GOAT candidate IGL, and you're not gonna just give him over like that, even though he has not been performing that well. But it is a possibility. That's the crazy thing. And then the third one, which I think is the most plausible, and that is Gamer Legion. Which is also based on facts, because we know for a fact that Gamer Legion and 100 Thieves have been in talks together. And I know the title reads the CEO denies the rumors, but it also says that they did indeed have talks. So we know they're in conversation, which is huge. Of course he doesn't just want to sell the players, because if you don't really care about your players, then you can't ask for too much money. You say, I want to keep these players, then you have to pay way more, because I really don't want to sell. That's just doing business. Gamer Legion is a perfect signing for the NA organization for multiple reasons. Even Nero from HLTV said this on an episode of the Fans Come Here podcast.
Probably the most self-explanatory meme slide you've probably ever done.
I think it's impossible to talk about Gamer Legion going into this major without kind of addressing the elephant in the room, pesky Californian organization who's given Messioso millions and millions of dollars, and they're just like, just pick up the best core in the top 30 you can. And he'd be an idiot if he didn't start with Gamer Legion.
First off, the main goal for Sean Garris and Messioso is not necessarily the core of players, but it is actually to get a coach.
I think the IGL and head coach need to come first, because that is the most important relationship day in, day out. So that relationship is very important. And I think when you build a team, those two absolutely need to come first.
Well, who is the most promising coach right now? It's Ash. Keeping the great signings from the top of the management to the bottom of the management going is by getting an up-and-coming and hyped coach in the form of Ash, which will complete the triangle. Ash has shown that he can create a stable roster of riflers that can compete at the top, and most importantly, on a budget. Though Ash has been under a lot of scrutiny for his lack of results in the last few months, but also for his apparent inability to sign a good Awper. But I still believe having a management of Sean Garris, Messioso and Ash is very exciting, and I would say it challenges the likes of Team Vitality, Team Spirit and G2 Esports in their managerial capacity. Secondly, then you have PR, which is one of the hottest prospects in the scene right now.
The draw. PR brings him down. Do they have the sight? Do they have the plan? It looks like a 3-man. Oh, make it 2 on the CT retake. He's PR.
HLTV.org released an article listing all the prospects of this year and having PR at the 3rd place, just above Jambo and just under Kiyosuke and Molodoi. PR is a player you can build on for years to come, which you sadly can't with Rain. But PR will be in the scene for a long time and will be therefore a great franchise player for the org. Then we have Raz, IEM Oakland MVP winner 1946. A veteran in his own right and arguably the best player from Sweden. He has been there and done that. A very stable piece and a loyal player to the organization, just like Rain. Raz served under NIP for long. Too long, I would say, and have passed on a lot of great opportunities. But hey, loyalty is very much appreciated. Then it gets a bit more fuzzy because then you need that 3rd player to get the core. I would argue you will get ZTR, who is a pretty good up and coming IGL, but the org has specifically stated a few times that Rain is actually gonna pick up the IGL mantle. Which gives me some doubts honestly, but I know that Rain has a lot of experience and has a great team player mentality. Rain is not for nothing credited as the best player I ever played with by players like Carrigan, Olofmeister, Nico, Frozen. The list goes on of terrific players saying he was the best. So I fear they won't pick up ZTR, which is good for Gamer Legion because then they have something to build up from. But then you have Towson and Hypex. Rumors are going around that Towson is the player that they're looking to pick up, which I like because Towson is a solid player that has some explosiveness in the clutches, which I like. And this lineup is exactly what they're looking for, with Messioso saying this in an interview.
Truly do believe in the next generation of esports talent, although I think there's immense value in the experience of some of the older players.
Yeah, for sure. I think you can get to a certain level with young kids, but I think like you still need at least like one kind of experienced veteran. I would like 2. And then like even like having someone sort of in the middle. I think that the young players, they bring in a lot of value in terms of, you know, they're typically very mechanically good, but they need that guidance and leadership from older experienced players. And I think that sometimes the older experienced players need a bit of like drive given to them from these young kids who are just grinding and grind the SAL. So I think it's having the mixture of like the older guys teaching the younger guys while the younger guys are pushing the older guys to like keep working.
Raz is the older experienced player that they're looking for, and then PR and Towson is that fresh young blood for the new age of esports. So if this would happen, 100 Thieves will look like this: Rain, Towson, Raz, and PR. The only position they need to fill is the ARPing position. Simple. Sadly, it won't be simple, specifically because something Rain said in an interview.
Like, when's the last time you yelled at a player? You got like so angry.
Oh, that's actually not so long ago. It was we had a stand-in in our team and we had a discussion and it got a little bit heated.
Which is not necessarily confirmed that it's simple, but I can definitely see that it was simple. Who is gonna be the Awper? Well, rumors have been going around that they have actually already signed ex-OG Awper Nikodos.
I think we heard that Nikodos is the Awper. That was talked about.
You've talked about it like it's fairly convincing. Like,
yeah.
Am I excited for this? No. Do I understand? I guess so. If this is true, I can kind of see what the basis of the decision is, because Nikodos is more of a rifler than an Awper, which fits well with the newborn IGL that Rain is gonna be, because he is more of a rifler and a team player and is not very well known for his AWPing abilities, therefore probably doesn't know what to do with an AWP on his team, because man has had 10 AWP kills in his career. Maybe with Nikodos more on the rifle than the AWP would help Rain in his ability to lead the team. But now, we're gonna get to the biggest problem of this roster: Rain IGLing. Sean Garrett said this in an interview about Rain IGLing.
Point that you were interested in IGLing. That was like a huge opening for us, because I kept saying behind closed doors, it's like, this is gonna be hard to find the IGL, the Awper, or to look at cores and all these different things. But having a stable player like Rain come to us and be willing to IGL was an incredible thing.
Yet still, I don't believe it. It feels so weird. What kind of IGL would Rain even be? Foreign himself hits the nail on the head on an episode of Feed the Trolls.
But the one detail I want to throw at people is this. This isn't even a diss at Rain. It's just I actually think Yanko, he might be one of the only players in the history of Counter-Strike where I think it's almost impossible to know if he would actually even enjoy being an IGL. Because I made this point to people. The most famous thing about Rain is, aside from like whatever Norwegian mix he was in 12 years ago, this is basically the only team he's ever been in, Yanko. It was like King, Win, G2, FaZe.
Yeah.
That's the most famous team in the history of Counter-Strike for not using like tactical Counter-Strike, isn't it? Like,
But just to entertain the idea, how would Rain describe how you will be an IGL?
So it's been on my mind for a little while. That's kind of my next step. Going through all the roles that I've played, I just wanted to finish my career in this way. I'm a little nervous, but also really excited for the challenge. You know, it's gonna be a lot more talking, to bring more water to the desk, and just trying to take control of some players. I don't want to micro too much in my IGLing, but I do want to get my point across if that makes sense.
Well, we'll have to see. And we'll have to see if the lineup of Ash, Rain, Towson, PR, Raz and Nikodos will actually come to fruition. As for now, I have been really excited for the signings that 100 Thieves have been making. I am genuinely thinking of becoming a fan. But what are your thoughts? Do you think they're making good signings? Do you think they're gonna sign a core? And if so, what core? Let me know your thoughts because I love talking about Counter-Strike, and if you do too, please consider liking, subscribing and commenting down below. Bye.